Hey there, I'm a little bit late if you're here for the live show. I got caught up in watching Facebook Live videos. So I actually didn't know you could go to the map on Facebook Live and then you just pinpoints where different live broadcasts are. I got sucked in. I apologize, I'm a little bit late here. And we're going to go over what to have in place before you open a therapy private practice. So as you can see, Start a Therapy Practice, startatherapypractice.com, and the podcast called Start a Therapy Practice. I put on a solid shirt this time because last time I think the camera messed with the stripes, so didn't mean to make y'all kind of sick like that. Oh, and look here, my daughter did this. Enrollment to the Academy of Private Practice will close October 31st. Actually, that's midnight, October 30th. So if you come in there on October 31st, you won't be able to enroll to be a member of the Academy of Private Practice. I'll tell you more about what all the Academy is at the end of this. So just know you can go to startatherapypractice.com/academy to find out more information. So that's super cool. I've got a checklist here, and what I'll do is at the end of this, after I post this, I will give you this checklist for free. You can see there's like multiple pages in here. So no need to write down what I'm going to talk about because I'll put a link down below after I get done. And then you can have this. I actually have a couple of different things for you to have for free. It's a direct download. I don't want your email. I do have some other free stuff over at startatherapypractice.com. I have some free forms. I have a bunch of free guides. Probably one of the better ones that you might want if you're thinking about starting a private practice is your website. So I did a podcast on what to have on your website, and then I created a checklist. So over at startatherapypractice.com, if you click on the free forms, so if you just scroll down just a little bit, it's a big button, you can't miss it. It says free forms, or it might say free tools actually. Click on that, and then scroll down, and there's all kinds of free guides to help you with your private practice. All right, let's get started. So what you want to do before you start your private practice, ideally you start doing this at least 6 months before you actually open your private practice, whether it's a brick and mortar practice or if you're just going to start seeing some clients. Even if you just want to see 1 or 2 clients just to begin with, you want to do these things. Now, I would suggest you take these serious, really put in your research and your homework, take your time, and make a go of this. Otherwise, you're just kind of playing at it. You're not real serious with it. If it happens, it happens. And you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Think about what you did to get into therapy school and then get through therapy school and graduate. It took a lot of work, didn't it? Well, it's going to take more work to actually have a successful therapy business. So here we go. We want to do a market analysis. Now, when I open my private practice, I have 2 clinics, and they provide OT, speech, and PT. Each of those clinics do. Before we started our practice, I say my wife is an occupational therapist, and I am an occupational therapist, in case you didn't know. So before we started our private practice, we went around our town and asked those who might refer to us if there thought was a need for a therapy clinic, a therapy business. And so we got some good responses. They were like, yeah, I think that would do well. We would certainly send you some clients. So we kind of had I wouldn't say we had a ready-made caseload. We had some ready-made referral sources. So that was super helpful. All right, so a market analysis. And I know I have a video or 2 in the Academy of Private Practice to walk you through that. I think on the YouTube channel, Start a Therapy Practice, there is an example of how to do a market analysis using Google Maps to kind of check out and see where the competition is. So you can do that. Go into Google Maps, and if you're a speech therapist, type in speech therapy on Google Maps and zero in on your city. See what comes up. You're going to see exactly where the speech therapists are in your city. That's just one way to do a market analysis. It's a little more detailed than that, but that'll get you started. All right, a business plan. That is the other checklist that I have for you down here. It's not necessarily a business plan template. There's plenty of those. I kind of explain what you might want to have in a business plan. A lot of people overthink a business plan. You have to think, what is this for? Is it just for you to kind of get your thoughts together in order to launch a private practice? Or is a financial institution going to see this? And is it going to be the basis of if they're going to give you a loan? So you have to determine what it's for. In the checklist, the free checklist that I give you, there's some good links. There's some good information on what a business plan is, what it's for, how to create one, and links to different templates that you might want to use. So that's a free download. Just click on that down there. All right, the next one I have is collect emails of potential clients. So think of different ways that you could collect an email, that you could get someone's email that might down the road need therapy or recommend you for therapy. Because then what you can do is you can put their email into an email software platform. I use ConvertKit, and when we get a new client in my clinic, I'll put the new client in ConvertKit, which then puts them in a sequence of emails just to kind of check up on them, see what they think about therapy, and have that ongoing conversation with them. But if you can collect emails right now, that would be a great thing to do. Maybe you could put on a workshop, a presentation. Maybe you could give something away in order to get some emails. So think about how are you going to get some emails? Social media. Of course, you're right here on Facebook. This is a Facebook Live video. So if you're watching this later, video is very powerful. Even if you're not doing a live video, if you're doing treatment right now and you have permission to record part of your therapy session, be sure to get a signed release for whoever you're treating, and video recording. But if you can get some treatment video down, I mean, just little snippets of here's what's going on, here's what I'm doing in order to address this situation. And even if you're not putting it on social media right now, catalog it, save it. When you're doing some great therapy right now, save those demonstrations of your therapy and the explanations of what you're doing, and just save them. You're going to use them later. It'll be powerful stuff. You can edit it later, but I use the Clips app on my iPhone to shoot some video. It's pretty powerful, but just shoot the video. Just break your phone out, hit record, get some video going. Be sure to dump it off your phone though. Your phone's going to die or you're going to lose the video. So save those videos on your computer. And if you can back it up in the cloud, that's even better. All right, referral networking. So think about all your referral sources, your potential referral sources, and start networking with them. Think your attitude and approach should be, how can I be helpful to this referral source? How can I help them out? And instead of going in there and say, hey, I'm a therapist, why don't you send people my way? That's not the right way to go about it. The right way to go about it is to approach them, introduce yourself. Sure, you can say, here's what I do. But think about how you can help them. Can you inform them of something? Can you provide something to them that they can't provide for themselves? Whether it's just information, whatever it is, how can you help that person who might potentially refer to you? You should be writing that down. You should be writing down all your referral sources, your potential referral sources, and then think of ways how you can help them and write that down too. A budget. I don't like budgets. So constricting, aren't they? Restraining. But think about how much you potentially might spend on equipment, might spend on software, might spend on test protocols, test kits. I mean, in my clinic, I don't know how many tests we have. If I had to calculate how much we've spent on tests and test protocols over the years, $10,000 probably. I don't know. I mean, we do a lot of tests and we have a lot of evaluation kits. So think about how much you might need. I mean, don't go crazy out of the chute as far as buying tests and test kits. Buy what you need, and maybe you could even buy it used. So think about how much your test protocols are going to cost. Rent, are you going to rent a place? Insurance, write all that down in a budget. How much is it going to cost for you to get paid to pay your own personal bills until your business starts generating money? So I recommend if you can put back 3 months at least expenses that you need to live on, that's really going to help. 6 months is ideal, but if you can put back 3 months of money, worth of money, and think, I'm not going to make any money for 3 months, I better have something to live on, that's going to be ideal. An accountant and or a lawyer. I would go with an accountant first because they're cheaper. So make connections with an accountant. And what I would suggest is find an accountant who has accounts similar to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a therapy private practice. It could be a dentist. It could be a counselor. It could be someone else that's similar to your business. That way they kind of are familiar with what you're working on. Right? An accountant can incorporate you. A lawyer certainly can incorporate you, but an accountant's going to do it cheaper. You can use LegalZoom to do your incorporation, but I use an accountant. Business cards. You're going to need some business cards. You can get a business card right now, even if you don't have a private practice. I suggest you do. Have a business card. It'd be great to have a website where you can put on that business card, but put the relevant information on there. Put your phone number, put your email, and put your picture on your business card. That's important. A picture of yourself on the business card. So that might entail you hiring a photographer to take a nice headshot picture of you from here up. Because people connect with faces. People connect with people. So put your picture on there. And start handing those out. Carry around your business card. Even if you don't have a private practice right now, carry that business card around. When you have a conversation out in the wild, at the grocery store, wherever, about therapy, about a situation that somebody's in that you think you as a therapist could help, give them that business card. And then if you have a website, if you have something that you're able to give away, whether it's like an ebook or a checklist or something that would speak to that person's difficulty, they're going to land on your website and say, oh, I talked to Scott about my child who has reading problems, and he's got a dyslexia checklist. I'm going to download that. You know, whatever the case may be, think about those things that you can give away in order to be helpful, but in exchange for an email. And then you can start having that conversation back and forth with that person. I put on here business email. So people are going to take you a little more serious if you have a business email. Now, what I mean by that is everybody's got a Gmail account, right? I got a Gmail account. But through my clinic website, I have an email with the extension of my clinic. So my clinic is Therapy for Kids. My email is Scott@Therapy4Kids. Don't email me there because that's for my clinic. You can email me at scott@startatherapypractice.com. There again, it's my domain name email. It's not scott@therapyforkids@gmail.com. It's @therapyforkids.com. That legitimizes you. That lets people know, oh, he's got a website. He's actually for real. He's legit. So it's more business oriented than a Gmail or a Yahoo account. Practice name. What are you going to call your business? Now, a lot of people, especially PTs, you PTs out there are good about this. You'll name it like my last name's Harmon. You might, and so you PTs would say, well, you're going to call it Harmon Physical Therapy or Smith Physical Therapy. I see that done a lot. And what's funny is people will put their last name real big. They'll put Harmon just real big on the side, and they'll put physical therapy real small under it. Like, how does that help people? That doesn't help people. That just shows I've got a big ego. Look at me. Physical therapy. Look at me. Speech therapy. Don't do that. Flip that. Flip the script on that and put speech therapy. Scott Harmon. I'm an occupational therapist, so I wouldn't do that. But you get my drift. What I also suggest when you're thinking about a practice name, think about naming it what it is. Mine is Therapy for Kids. That's what we do. You know what happens there. We do therapy. We do it for kids. So think about what you do and who you do it for. Can you incorporate that into your practice name? Then can you go a step further and incorporate where you do it at? If you do it in Colorado Springs, you could say speech therapy I mean, just to take mine for an example, speech therapy for kids, Colorado Springs. That's a long name. I wouldn't do that. But keep it short, keep it kind of catchy, but say what you do. All right, a logo. So when I came up with my logo, it was like in the middle of the night. I woke up and I thought about this logo for my clinic. So I kind of sketched it out, and then I worked on it over time. I'm not sure I would do that now because I'm not a graphic designer by any means. So I would probably hire that design done. I hired the design done for the Start a Therapy practice, for the Academy of Private Practice. That's not the logo, by the way. That would be pretty sad, wouldn't it? So I designed, this logo. I didn't do that. I'm not good enough to do that. But if you go to Fiverr, Fiverr, you can find somebody to do a logo pretty reasonable. That's where I got that done. I think it was like $20. Now, I also paid for my Academy of Private Practice logo on, what is it called? 100 Design? I can't remember now. But that one cost me a little money. I think I paid $150 maybe for that. But it's a nice logo. It's right there. Let's see if you can see it. See? That's the logo of the Academy. So if you want to start a private practice like it says, check out the Academy. All right, determine your fees. So you can research what other people are charging. Do not have the conversation with people in your immediate area what they're charging. That's called price fixing, and it is a federal offense. Don't do that. On one of my podcasts, I think it's number 69. So if you go to startatherapypractice.com/69, I think that's the number. But if you go over there and search on insurance, it's the one on signing up for insurance. I go over how to determine your fees briefly. So I won't go into that here. But you want to determine your fees. I mean, you can see what other people are charging. Sometimes they'll have it on their website. They might have the rates on their website. You can certainly look at those and see what people are charging. All right, I put on here a professional picture of yourself to use in promotional items, promotional materials. So get somebody to, pay somebody $100 to take various headshots of you, different poses of you. It seems a little vain, but like I said, people connect with people, so they're going to want to see you. See if you can bring out the personality in a picture. Set that back there. All right, you're going to want to incorporate. Are you going to incorporate or be a sole proprietor? That's hard for me to say. A proprietor. Who's on here? I got a couple people watching. Be sure to jump in the chat there. If you got something that you want to say there that I'm missing as far as preparing to open a private practice, put it in the chat. And I would love for you to participate in that way. Even if you're listening later, not even live, put in the chat if I'm missing something that you think people need to have in place before they start a private practice. All right, incorporate or be a sole proprietor. Van Cruz is in here. I'm going to say incorporate. There again, talk to an accountant about that. Mr. Cruz, his dad's an accountant, but I don't think he's going to help you out. So I would see a local accountant in your city. Find a local accountant, ask around who's good. All right, insurance. You need personal and business insurance. So when I say personal insurance, that's going to be your liability insurance. When I say business insurance, if you have a physical place, you're going to need some what they call slip and fall insurance. Go see your local insurance agent to get that slip and fall insurance. Mr. Cruz, you didn't miss anything. You're the man. I'm just glad you're here. Another good thing about insurance agents is they're very well connected. That's what they do. They're salesmen. So if you can make a connection with an insurance agent in your local town, they will be an advocate for you. They'll spread the word that you're in business, and they know everybody. Insurance agents know a good one knows everybody. You're going to need an NPI number, a National Provider Identification number. And there again, on this checklist that you can download here in a little bit, I got a link to it. So you don't have to write it down. Just click on the link, get your NPI number. An EIN number, that's an employer identification number. All right, you're going to need one of those. You actually don't have to be incorporated to get one. There again, I have a link. Do you see that, Van? It's a Yankee. I have a link on here to get your employee identification number. This can take some time. It might take a month, 2 months to get, not an MPI, that didn't take that long, to get an EIN number. Sounds like EIEIO. All right, you're going to want to open a business checking and savings. I said and savings account. Keep your business account separate from your personal account. Have a business savings account. You need to save money for your business. All right, Mr. Cruz has got my back. I appreciate that, Mr. Cruz. All right, a CPT Code Manual, or check your professional organization. So your professional organization, AOTA, APTA, ASHA, they're going to have, if you're a paying member, if you're paying your dues to that national organization, they're going to have a billing section on their website, and they're going to have CPT codes in there, commonly billed CPT codes right there. All right, I have the CPT Code Manual. That's not a cheap book. I can't remember how much it cost. I've got a link to it here, but you're going to pay over $100 for it, and you actually don't need but probably a dozen codes out of it, and it's a thick book. All right, invoices for billing a patient. You're going to need that. So, you know, PayPal, you can create an invoice. I use QuickBooks to create my invoices, and then I have them pay. I use Card Connect, which I'll try to put a link down below for Card Connect. They're pretty cheap if they're actually about the cheapest that you can go with as far as them processing the card payment, as long as you have a minimum threshold of what you're billing per month. I think it's $1,000. So if you're billing $1,000 per month, then Card Connect is the way to go. All right, let's see. Set up QuickBooks or FreshBooks for accounting and banking, invoicing, credit card processing. So like I said, I use QuickBooks. Dry erase spray. I got some dry erase spray right over there. Yeah. You don't need dry erase spray for your private practice. Not right at first anyway. Maybe later on down the road. But anyway, QuickBooks or FreshBooks for accounting and banking. If you're watching this on YouTube later, I'm seeing this chat, and so I'm trying to respond to some of these people, and you're like, who's Scott talking to? He's lost it. I haven't lost it yet. I'm getting close. All right. In-network provider applications. Are you going to be in network with insurance? Well, then you need to start the process of filling out the applications, because it can take a long time. Insurance is very good at not getting you signed on to be a provider. They have no interest in you becoming a provider in network. So start now. Just call them up and say, how do I become a provider? And they're either going to send you something in the mail or send you to a website to fill out the application. They might want you to be incorporated already. They might want you to have a physical address. You just have to ask. Find out who the 3 biggest insurance providers in your area are and who your competition is taking, and start with those 3. You don't want to be in network with everybody right out the chute. All right. Medicaid or Medicare applications. Those take some time. Get those started sooner rather than later. A billing mechanism. So this would be a clearinghouse, an EMR, a medical billing service. Let me define some terms there, because this is Starter Therapy Practice 101. Billing through a clearinghouse. I use Office Ally. Even if I have an EMR, which is Electronic Medical Records System, which I do, to create my progress notes, that sends it to the clearinghouse. The clearinghouse sends it to the insurance. So the clearinghouse actually creates a certain bit of computer code. It kind of transcribes that, translates what's coming from your EMR into a specific type of code. It's called an ASCII2, ASC2, to send to the insurance company. That's the only thing the insurance company will receive electronically, is this specific code, type of code. So they send it to them. So you got to have this in place unless you're billing directly through the insurance's website, which sometimes you can. But then, of course, you got to keep up with the remittances and you got to reconcile all the payments. That can get a little messy. So I suggest you have a clearinghouse. I use Office Ally and EMR. There's a lot of them out there. Or you can use a medical billing service. You can hire that out. A medical billing service is probably going to charge you 6 to 8% off the top of what they collect. So if you think about a medical billing service collecting 6 to 8% of what you're billing or what you're collecting, let's say you bill $100,000 this next year, and they're going to get 6 to 8% of that. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, you can pay somebody that. Now, let's 10x that. Let's say you bill $1 million, and you can do this. You can bill $1 million worth of therapy, because it's not just you. Once you own a private practice, you're going to hire more therapists, and you're going to grow, and you're going to be the next Donald Trump of therapy. I know it. I know it. But $1 million, you're paying someone 6 to 8% of that. That's a lot of money. You want to hire somebody in-house at that point. You don't want to give away that much money in billing. So, all right, scheduling software. So how are you going to schedule patients? What are you going to use? Some friends of mine use a system called Intake Q. So it's intake and then the letter Q behind it. So if you search if you Google search Intake Q, that's a pretty nice scheduling platform, and it's not crazy expensive. And you can write progress notes in it too. It doesn't have a billing mechanism, I don't think. All right, marketing tools. So this would be like your flyers, some signs, different marketing tools. Of course, it has to go into your budget, doesn't it? But start writing those down. What are you going to use as marketing tools? Flyers, pamphlets, a sign out in front of your building. A sign in front of your building is going to cost some money. I've bought a few signs in my day, and it will cost you, I mean, it depends what you want. I've spent anywhere from $300 to $1,300, I think. And those are not that fancy of a sign. All right, spreadsheet for tracking marketing efforts. I'm looking at this. That's why I keep looking down. So a spreadsheet to track your marketing efforts. Google Sheet, it's free, right? But I want you to track your marketing efforts. What are you doing? Because that which gets tracked gets improved on, all right? HIPAA forms. So what I'm talking about there is some intake forms. I have some free forms over at startatherapypractice.com. Go over there and get those free forms. And one of those is a HIPAA compliance form. So go get that over there. Policy and procedure manual. I'm going to hold this up so you know that I'm looking at you here. A policy and procedure manual. Google Sheets. Yes, Van Cruz, I said Google Sheets. I mean, these are not sheets you put on your bed. These are sheets you actually work on. It's like a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet. That's what I'm talking about. All right. To track information. Policy and procedure manual. This is just what the rules, basically, of your practice. Write down all the rules you can think of, and then keep writing the rules down. And then if you ever hire somebody, make them read the rules and make them sign off. I read the rules. That way, they know what's expected and they know what the rules are. Write those down right now. You don't wait till the last minute. All right, systems. Got to have some systems in place. Document how you do things. As you're doing a task that you're like, I'm tired of doing this. I don't want to do this. Document it down. How is it done? If you go over to startatherapypractice.com/SOP, that's S as in Scott, SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, I explain in detail how I document my procedures. And then I can dump off that task on someone else, because there's a lot of things you should not be doing as a practice owner. All right? Don't be doing something that an $8 an hour worker could do when you're making $80 an hour. That doesn't make sense. All right, let's see. A practice location. If you get a physical facility, try to see if you can get that physical place near your referral sources. So when we opened our second clinic, we actually opened it in a place that was nowhere near any referral sources. It didn't do that well. So we moved And now we're near our referral sources, and it does better. The doctors and the other referral sources have to drive past my clinic and see my sign in order to get to their clinic. So that is very helpful. It legitimizes us. All right, a business phone. Don't use your, well, I shouldn't say don't use your own personal cell phone, because you can separate phone numbers on there. Like, you can use a Google phone number and use an app to come up on your phone. But I actually have a separate phone. We have a couple separate phones. So we have a landline at our clinic, and then we also have a separate cell phone for our practice. That's actually the phone that is out there on our website. That's what comes up. So the cell phone is nice because then you can just hand it off to someone else, and they don't even have to be at the clinic or at your physical place, or you don't have to have it. You can say, hey, take the clinic phone with you today. So you can do that. All right, a business fax. A lot of it's electronic fax. I have a copy machine that's also a fax machine, but I also use eFax. All right, that's what I use. There's a different electronic fax options out there. All right, let me see. I don't want to go over all these. A progress note. So you might be using where you're working at now, you might be using an EMR. Of course, the facility where you're working at, they're using the EMR. Now, Mr. Cruz here is going to mention the progress note that I created, in that I have been so generous to let him use, and he'll tell you it's wonderful. He's used it for 10 years probably now, and you can have it too. So if you go to startatherapypractice.com/progress-note, and I'll put a link down below to that, you can have it for free. It's a freebie. I created it. I've used it for 15 years now, improved on it, and it's a spreadsheet note. You can upload it to Google Docs or have it on your phone with an Excel spreadsheet, and it's a monthly progress note. You can have it for free. All right. Let's see. Client intake forms. So how are you going to collect the information for the clients that you're going to treat? You got to write it down somehow. So you just need to start collecting those now. If you're working for somebody, see how they do it. You don't have to recreate the wheel here. If somebody's already doing it, you don't have to come up with it from scratch. That would be difficult anyway. All right, I've gotten about to the end. I've left some off, but like I said, you can go get this checklist, and I'll put the link to it down below. It's a direct download. I don't need your email. And Mr. Cruz, there is no door prize tonight anyway. I should do a door prize. I don't have anything. Got a stapler back here. That's about it. I do want to show you something. Mr. Van Cruz will appreciate this. Look here. Let me get back in focus. Whoa. What's this? Look at that. It's a Stanley. This is off topic, but that's okay. We're done. Stick around. I'm going to tell you about the Academy of Private Practice. So this is a Stanley thermos, and it has coffee in it right now that I cooked probably around 10 o'clock this morning, and it's still hot in here. I'm going to drink some when we get done. I just keep this by my desk down here. If I want a little bit of coffee, pour it in there. All right, tell you what though, before you pour the coffee in here, boil some water, pour it in there, and let it set for about 10 minutes, and it will stay hot for all day, like 12 hours. All right, the Academy of Private Practice is open right now. You see that there. So what is the Academy of Private Practice? It is e-course lessons, video lessons, me telling you, here's what you got to do. It's kind of me unpacking the ideas that I just gave you right now and giving you that step-by-step, do this, go here, do this. It's also accountability. It's also mentorship. So once a month, we have a mastermind meeting. So you and other practice owners and myself get together online in a video sharing. I use Zoom. So we're doing a video chat, and we're kind of asking questions and getting answers from myself and from the other practice owners. Love doing masterminds. About once a month, maybe once every 6 weeks, we read a book. So it's a book club. And we take lessons from that, because those who read, lead. All right? Those who read, lead. I want you to read books, and I want you to read a lot of books. That's helped me tremendously. The other thing we have, once a week, I do a Facebook Live just for Academy members, usually on Monday. I call it Mentoring Monday. And what I'll do is I'll come in there and give you some inspiration, maybe teach a short lesson, I mean, nothing heavy, and give you a challenge. So we get to challenge each other and have something to work on, have a goal. All right. So it's that way you also know where I am. At least once a week, you're like, I know Scott's on Facebook Live Monday at 7 a.m. Yeah, 7 a.m. It's early, but I'm going to get you pumped up early, because I get up early. I get up like at 5, get things done. And then there's ongoing lessons. Like I just added a lesson on doing some Facebook advertising. I'm doing Facebook advertising for my clinic, generating some referrals. And so I figure that out. I'm like, all right, I want to figure this out. Then after I figure that out, I present it in a video format. And sometimes I'll do it live within the Academy. And that way we can have some questions. And sometimes I'll just say, you know what, I'm going to video record this and make it very trimmed down. So I try to make it as concise as possible, so I'm not wasting your time, but give you something very practical, like how to do Facebook advertising for your private practice, different things like that. So I really enjoy being in there and meeting the other practice owners. I mean, I learn from them too. It's a continual learning process. I've had to up my game to be able to teach those in the Academy of Private Practice, but it benefits me too, because I'm implementing these ideas that I come up with. I'm like, well, I got to take that serious now, because Academy members are going to ask me questions about it. And I want to be able to explain it to them in a way that they'll understand. So really enjoy. I've done it for a couple years now. It's so fun, so fun. And I've got get to see these practice owners go on their journey of private practice and pull away from working for the band, working for themselves, get a little flexibility in their life, and spend some time with the family. So that's all I have. Be sure to go by startatherapypractice.com, subscribe to the podcast, put a comment down below if I missed any steps that you think that somebody who's going to go into private practice should do. And Mr. Cruz, I'll talk to you later. All right. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. I already said that, but be sure to like this page. Click like. All right. Until next time, Godspeed.